Coming up next on Adventurer, the lead singer of a world-famous rock band from Jersey. Hint, it's not Bruce Springsteen. Don't go away. Clash, James Clash. Welcome to Adventurer, the show with guests who truly push their lives to the limits. No talking heads here, just the real deals. I'm Jim Clash. Pat Dinizio and three fellow New Jersey friends founded the world-famous band, the Smithereens, in 1980. Since they've produced a dozen top-selling albums with original songs like Blood and Roses, A Girl Like You, and Behind the Wall of Sleep. But Dinizio's always been a big Beatles fan, and this month he releases a tribute to the Fab Four covering B-sides of 12 hit singles from the 60s. I've heard it, and let me tell you, it's fantastic. Welcome, Pat. You know, I've been listening to the Smithereens since 1986, okay? And what I think you've done now, we put people on the show who take risks. You guys have gone out and done 12 Beatles songs, covered 12 Beatles songs, and the B-sides.
Yeah.
That's risky, just covering one. What was your thinking?
My thinking was that we hadn't done an album in about 10 years, and I needed to find the best possible way to reintroduce the world at large, the new people, and also the kids that had grown up with our music who are now middle-aged with children of their own that are now in college, and a lot of them just thought we stopped playing, you know, so I needed to find a very interesting and marketable way to reintroduce the band to the world. And I came across a copy of a magazine, I think it was called American Heritage. It said 1964, the year that changed everything, and it dealt largely with the Vietnam War, student protests. It dealt with the Lyndon Johnson's, what was it called, the new society or something like that?
I can't remember.
Well, anyway, it dealt with Nam, it dealt with everything. The assassination of JFK, but it dealt largely with Beatlemania and the profound impact that it had upon the youth of America. When I Want to Hold Your Hand was released as a single in '63 and then followed in January '64 with Meet the Beatles, which we agreed as a band was the most influential album in our lives. Now, that album had become a bit of a holy grail in that it had not been available for over 20 years. So you're looking at a generation of music lovers that weren't even aware that this album had been released. So we rather lovingly recreated it from the bottom up, done in our own style. And the way that we recorded it was much like a classical orchestra would sit down and read the notes of something Beethoven had written, and they'd play the notes as written. But if they're worth anything at all, that aggregation of musicians or symphony will have their own sound, and you'll know who it is immediately.
And you guys kept your sound,
Absolutely.
But you did a loving remake. And the first one was called Meet the Smithereens, which you guys did.
Right.
Now you're doing the next one, which is the B-sides of the Beatles tunes. And I'll tell you, you did my favorite Beatles song on the first one, Don't Bother Me.
Yeah, the very first solo George Harrison composition.
Tell me about that one, because I love that song.
It's a great song. It's just evocative. It started off side two of Meet the Beatles, and it's got that minor key thing that, if you like the Smithereens,
I love the minor key.
Yeah, you'll like Don't Bother Me. It's just a great song.
And Mike, not Mike, but Jimmy Babchak sang it, right?
Yeah, well, we wanted to do something neat for the first Beatles tribute album, that Jimmy sings George's song and Dennis, our drummer, sings Ringo's song, which is I Want to Be Your Man. And then I had to come up with a kind of hybrid blend of John and Paul. I was singing both their things, but the difference between what we do, it's the Smithereens with the Smithereens guitar tones and attitude, and me singing in my own voice, which is hopefully, you know, distinctive and somewhat memorable. The problem I have with the Beatles bands, as good as some of them are, the Beatles tribute bands, is that they are trying to recreate the vocal sound as well as the guitar sound. And there's nothing more boring to me than someone trying to sound like John Lennon. It's like I'd rather listen to the Rutles.
Right, no, but you guys, you stayed true to the Smithereens sound,
yes,
and you covered the songs lovingly. Have you ever had any reaction from Paul or Ringo, the two members who are still alive?
Well, we have friends who are, you know, we have connections, to them personally. I haven't heard from Paul or Ringo, but we did hear from Olivia Harrison, George's widow, that in her words, we did a very nice job with it. She enjoyed listening to it. So.
That's a great tribute. Again, the Smithereens frontman, Pat Dinizio. I'm Forbes Adventurer Jim Clash. To read my column, pick up Forbes magazine or click on Forbes.com/tothelimits. And thanks for watching the Forbes.com video network. Clash, James Clash.